Hey there, cats and kitties. I am the Blues Man, Johnny Blues, and this is going to be a full series review of the anime series Robotics Notes. Now, let me start off by saying that I haven't seen either of what we'll refer to here as the sister series to this one, neither Chaos Head nor Steins Gate, so I really can't speak to any potential links between them in correlation to this series in particular. And I'd also like to point out, for those of you who have yet to watch Robotics Notes, there are going to be some potentially spoilery bits of information all throughout this review, though I'll be delving into them relatively lightly as there's quite a bit that goes on in this series. Suffice to say, from here on, you've been warned. Robotics Notes is a series that begins with a largely defunct school robotics club, overseen mutually by the lively and vivacious Aki, as well as the lethargic gamer Kai. The club has been around since before either of them were in school, and features as one of its originators Aki's elder sister, Misaki. Kai is there largely, or so it seems at first, just to be there, because he and Aki have been friends since childhood, while Aki herself harbors deep aspirations to successfully build a giant pilotable robot, where her sister, who in her youth shared similar aspirations, failed to see her dreams become realized. Aki and Kai's relationship go beyond mere having grown up together, though, as they're linked to a degree through a shared accident in their youth, referred to as the SS Anemone incident. This incident leaves both Aki and Kai to experience strange seizures in times of immense stress, seemingly slowing down time and making their actions and reactions heightened. Not long after this event, however, Misaki, Aki's sister, leaves home, telling the heartbroken Aki in an altogether cruel fashion that she is essentially useless and too ordinary to ever successfully build a robot, let alone achieve anything else for that matter. She also strangely requests that Kai look out for Aki, which he ultimately promises he'll do. The mystery surrounding Misaki's sudden change between youth and adulthood and subsequent distancing from Aki, as well as the particulars of the Anemone incident itself, are some of the main themes of this series, although Misaki herself isn't particularly the focus at any given time. But her story goes hand in hand with the overall multi-tiered narrative that is woven throughout the series. The early focus, though, sees Aki and Kai meeting the adversity of entering their club in a competition to earn prize money, this featuring smaller, handheld-controlled robots in fighting matches, during which they meet one of the handful of folks that eventually come to join their brood, this being Subaru, a nerdy robot builder of his own accord from their school, but who is operating under the extravagant alias Mr. Pallades. We find through the course of the series that his father doesn't care much for his interests in robotics, and at various times stands in the way of his son's success by denying him the right to pursue his desires to build and be affiliated with robots in general. This being compounded toward the latter half of the series when Subaru is injured in an accident with one of the club's giant robotic creations, and which leads his father to deny his friends from seeing him in the hospital. However, when the true threat of the threat in the series is shown to him, Subaru's father is right by his side, supporting his son's efforts to rejoin the robotics club. Aki and Kai's surprising win at this early competition, though, not only snagged the participation of Subaru, but along with it the interest of the reclusive Furuguri Kona, also known as Frau Bao, the creator of the very game Kai's time is largely consumed with, known as Kill-Ballad, this being a robot-based fighting game. Frau is perhaps the funniest and most entertaining character in the entire series, with Aki coming a close second. She is by and large a hermit who spends the majority of her time on the net behind closed doors. It's thanks to this that she speaks, especially in the earliest encounters with Kai and the rest, almost entirely text speak, that is to say, abbreviated terms like LOL and K-Thanks Bye spelled KTHXBAI and the like. And she also has an insatiably pervy sense of humor to boot. Her interests are piqued when Kai wins the robo battle against Subaru's miniature robot, using techniques taken straight from the Kill-Ballad game. As the series unfolds, we also find out that Frau's mother went missing sometime prior to the series, which plays into the overarching plot, and which, unbeknownst to any one of the characters in the early going, makes Frau herself an integral part of the Robotics Club team later on. We also come to meet June, who is a skittish karate expert, as hilariously contradictory as that seems, and who is largely reluctant to join the club as she's terrified of robots. Her grandfather, nicknamed Doc, owns a robotics shop, which is another integral piece of the puzzle of the series, and we find that it's because of an accident with a robot in her youth that had fallen on top of her while issuing friendly catchphrases that subsequently scared and scarred her away from these pre-programmed automatons. In an arc that is similar to the one set between Subaru and his father, though, eventually June, with the help of Aki and Kai, manages to overcome her fear and bridges the divide that formed between her and her grandfather, Doc. And we find that the old man had actually blamed himself for the accident, not June, all along. Their accepting each other as family again was for me one of the truly touching moments in the series. It's amidst all of this, though, that Kai stumbles onto what is analogous to a small handful of snowflakes that, as they fall, or as more is uncovered, comes to create and unravel a hulking snowball of trouble. This involves the revealing of a sentient AI, a living girl whom the AI was based on and is kept in a sort of sleep-induced cryo-freeze, as well as a series of hidden documents published by a mysterious man who's been dead for the last decade or so, which loosely relates to a giant robot-themed anime character called Gunvero, as well as a plan to unleash a rocket on the sun to enhance what will ultimately be a series of devastating solar waves on this not-too-distant future Earth. As well as this, there are links to be uncovered between Aki's sister and a local shop owner woman named Herein, as well as their teacher and club overseer Michi, who later greatly aids them in bringing one of their giant robotic creations to an expo to show it off, and also Frau's mother, who have all played integral roles in revealing that the series of documents uncovered by Kai, purporting to want to stop a corporate conglomerate's plans to devastate the Earth, were actually the true intentions of the author himself, the enigmatic Kimijima Ko. Kimijima is the man who has been dead for the last couple decades, it turns out, having been found out by Aki's sister as the cause of the SS Anemone incident that so affected she and Kai in their youth, leads Aki's sister Misaki to attack and kill Kimijima as a result. Little could Misaki have known, however, that Herein would put the pieces together when a noticeable change in her demeanor took hold, which coincided with the revelation that Kimijima had created a perfect AI personality program of himself on the net. This AI being largely the instigator of the plans to adapt solar flares to his ominous purposes that would result in millions of extinguished human lives if successfully realized. Unfortunately, it was knowing too much that claimed the lives of Frau's mother and Herein herself, who was forced to walk off a cliff face thanks to her exoskeletal legs, which malfunctioned as a result of one of Kimijima's system-corrupting programs. Kai, who'd been all the while tracking down Kimijima's documents, not knowing that with each one, rather than averting disaster, he was actually unlocking it, was there to witness Herein's horrific demise, but not before she suggested he thank Aki's sister Misaki for the exoleg apparatus. And so there are numerous confrontations, some of which that are ultimately misdirecting throughout the series, that eventually lead characters to come together to meet the challenges of the AI clone of Kimijima head-on, and ultimately attempt to halt his heinous plans. We see tumultuous events like Subaru having to be hospitalized, Frau being set up as an online terrorist, the entire robotics club being ordered to shut down, as well as successful and heartening character arcs for all of the main cast of characters, and even a budding romance between Kai and Aki, who, by the end of the series, have both seen their goals reached and legitimized, even though we're almost fooled at one point into thinking Kai and Frau might hook up instead, I might add. Robotics Notes is a series filled, admittedly, with complexity. The multi-levels of the story aren't always easy to wrap your head around, but whether you manage to follow them all or not, at its heart exists a message of hope through perseverance, a conviction to follow your dreams by putting your best foot forward. It features just the right mix of action, humor, and mystery to keep you guessing and interested from one episode to the next, and finishes on a high note, albeit a relatively quick but no less affirming one. The animation and overall look of the series was definitely a beautiful garnish on the side dish to the series as a whole, each of the character designs being as unique as their personality traits, at the forefront of which was a lot of heart. I highly recommend the series for average anime fans, fans who like a series that'll get you thinking and involved, and even for those who don't particularly care for mecha-based series, as this one is not overplayed with it. This series is nothing like Gundam or a similar mecha-exclusive series, but it's more akin to an Evangelion or Big O type of series, where the giant robots are just a secondary part of the existing world, not the focus. And so that's pretty much my thoughts on Robotics Notes as a series whole. I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments below what your overall thoughts on the series were if you've seen it, and if not, whether you plan to delve into it or not. And otherwise, I hope you're all doing well, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all later. Peace.